The term crossing the chasm is this like hoity-toity tech term about when technology, new inventions go from being used by like really early adopters and tech nerds to the early majority of people that are like you and me, pragmatists looking for just incremental change and like a proven path. And one of the things that need to happen for that to be created is what's called a full product, which essentially is like a product ecosystem to be like so mature that people feel like they can use it and all the support tools around it exist for you to win beyond just using the product within the product. But that's not going to happen if we have old software thinking. And that's unfortunately pretty prevalent in our industry. So when I see software providers that have the right mentality, this like open mentality and this like customer first philosophy that's going to allow for the whole product to come through, meaning AI to really do its thing for property managers. When I see people like that, I want to have them on. Rentvine, I'm obviously, like really tight with. But DoorLoop just showed up a couple shows ago to NARPM. Florida State NARPM was their first one. Then they went to NARPM Nationals. And I don't know if you talked to them, but it's a really, really attractive property management system with over 1 million doors on it. They're doing really, really well. And this is the first time that they started exhibiting at NARPM. They, like us, grew through performance marketing. So I wanted to have some of the folks from NARPM that I've met that I'm impressed by on the show. And so you're going to talk to Arturo and Bruno. I said Arturo like a Venezuelan. Arturo, I guess, if you want to say it in like an Americanized Spanish. Arturo and Bruno, part of the DoorLoop team, where we're talking about just kind of like this open philosophy, the new technology coming into the space, what's needed for people to like get there. And you'll get to know a little bit about DoorLoop as well. So enjoy. Welcome to the Property Management Frame Breakers podcast. I'm your host, Pablo Gonzalez, and I am here to introduce you to the folks in the property management space that have broken the frame of what you may believe was possible. This podcast is presented by Vendoroo. It is your all-in-one AI solution for resolving your maintenance needs. Let's go. Arturo, what's up, man?
Everything good, man. I'm happy to be here.
Happy to be here with you, man. You guys kind of showed up in my life at Florida State NARPM. We immediately had a connection, and what I realized is that DoorLoop as a platform has not been to a lot of NARPM events. I think this is your second?
This is going to be my third.
This is your third. And yet, you have been slowly but surely growing a market share, and you have like 1 million doors, right? Like you guys are a for real platform that's one of these like challenger platforms that are coming up, and you have this open kind of like collaborative stance, which is very much in line with what I think the future of property management needs in order to adopt these like AI solutions and like really grow. So can you give me a little just like TLDR of what your role is over there?
Absolutely.
And like, am I right in what I said?
100%.
Yeah, okay,
100% agree with you.
Yeah.
To talk to you a little bit about who I am and what I do,
Yeah.
I'm a sales consultant in DoorLoop, been doing it for around 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I speak to 5 or 6 property managers, sometimes large landlords, typically in the mid-market sector, every single day.
Okay. So this is the value of that, right? Like somebody that has that many iterations of conversations about people's pain points, about people's lives. You have
correct.
Unique perspective of being able to talk to all these different people. And how do they feel about AI?
Well, I've received mixed thoughts about AI.
For sure.
I obviously, depending on the demographic of who I talk to, there's obviously, people that are a little bit older that are hesitant to it, but more and more people are starting to be more open to it. They discover the power of it, maybe with ChatGPT or the, things that are accessible to the public. They just start playing around with it. It's like, wow, this is insane.
Yeah.
And then from there, they realize what it means for their business, right? So they come to us, it's like, what do you have with AI? Not necessarily trying to fix a problem, but curiosity is what they're trying to get.
Does that work, man? I feel like when people are talking about AI curiosity, it takes you down one path, right? Like I don't know if you've ever read Crossing the Chasm, right? But there's like the early adopter people that like to be on like I get the new iPhone every day, right? Like I'm in line for it. Then there's the visionaries that are just like I want to be ahead of the market and where things are going. Those folks, they're curious about AI, they'll take some action. And then the rest of the first half of like the market curve, they're no longer these like visionaries and early adopters that are motivated by wholesale change and changing the game and being first. They're more motivated by like pragmatic use cases and safety and measurable incremental results, not wholesale change. What do you feel when you're talking to folks? Do you get a sense for like those conversations, how they are different?
Completely.
Yeah.
You can totally know who is ready to take action on AI, who needs AI, and who's got a problem that we can solve.
Yeah. Let's talk about the problems. Let's talk about the problems. Because I think I've beaten to death the visionary conversation in the first year of me doing this podcast, almost to a detriment to myself, because I'm a visionary, right? Like,
of course.
But I would love to hear more from the realistic problems that people believe in that can actually be solved.
I think specific to my industry, the biggest problem is just manual data entry. And that is really where AI came in, and now it's doing a good 70 to 80% of this data entry. If we want to get in specifics, we can go into the accounting portion. As simple as just going into your accounting software and uploading a bill to it. Like that could be maybe 5 data spots that you have to fill in manually, or it could be just drop a file, data entry is done for you.
Easy peasy. What else? So when you say manual data entry versus drop a file and it's done for you, are people equating this to time savings, effort, headache? Like, are they running towards pleasure, or are they running away from pain?
Definitely running away from pain.
Yeah.
They're running away from having countless hours, multiple employees sometimes that are maybe not needed. And that's really where AI comes in.
Yeah.
Just eliminating that data entry, making it fully automatic to do those, specifically in the accounting side, as I said. You don't have to enter your bill. You just got to drop the invoice you got from your vendor. That's it. It's already in your accounting suite, and you just have to have somebody click a button to pay.
And all this stuff happens inside of DoorLoop.
Everything happens inside of DoorLoop.
What, give me like an understanding of like what makes DoorLoop different and how what the problem is that you guys are solving, and then talk me to the AI.
So DoorLoop was founded because the industry, all the legacy players, are very robust software, and they're great softwares, but they're not the easiest to use. They don't have the best customer support, and that is really that is really why DoorLoop exists today, and it's evolved into a leading player when it comes to innovation with AI at this point.
I talked about a lot the innovator's dilemma, right? Like I'm just dropping tech book names out here, bro. Like the Crossing the Chasm, innovator's dilemma, right? Like the idea that the people that were around pre-2014, like pre-2010 or whatever, right? Like the further away that you built your like robust infrastructure of like form-based logic versus folks that have been building more recently post OpenAI, it's just I have a hard time, and maybe this is a conversation with Bruno, right? But like I have a hard time like understanding how the legacy players that have been around for this long can possibly rebuild their architecture in a way that allows for this like large language model based thing to really do its thing without it just like neutralizing both pieces of it. How you guys have been around? How long have you guys been around?
We were founded in 2019.
You said it perfectly, right? Yeah. All right. So you guys were founded in 2019. Do you guys consider yourself like an AI native solution? Do you consider yourself like a more modern because you built on like a more like UX cloud based stuff?
100%.
Like, is that like, how do you describe it?
I would say DoorLoop is just meant to accomplish tasks in less steps than everybody else. That is what we are. We're also a much fresher interface.
Yeah.
Like when you look at DoorLoops, you look at the colors, and we might think like it might not be important, right? We're talking about colors here. Like I don't have a problem when it's solved, right?
Yeah.
But in this case, like it just makes the whole experience of using software much more pleasing for the person who's using it.
What would you call the colors? Guayaba and kiwi?
It's guayaba, kiwi, and cherry.
I love it. As you guys just had a bunch of AI releases, right?
We've had that.
Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Can you just kind of like run through them?
October 1st. This is what we're releasing October 1st is what I like to say V1. Okay.
Yeah.
This is just DoorLoop finally leading in something, because all we've ever done at this point is just catching up. Right?
Yeah.
We're trying to catch up with the people that
what I
have
thought you were
been
gonna say.
20, 25 years.
Yeah.
And we've been doing a lot of that, and we are at the point where we win a good amount against some of these big players. But AI now we're leading. Like what we do, none of the legacy players have. And essentially, just to talk a little bit about it, we have integrated our AI assistant into DoorLoop, which basically allows you to not only get custom information out of your account, because this is not only pulling stuff from the internet, it's pulling it out of the data and your day-to-day and your maintenance history, and we're talking about like all the expenses you have. Like it's reading, taking everything into consideration. It also has full access to the API, so not only it gets information, but it does things for you. And it's just endless possibilities. It's really what it is.
I'm going to ask you a tough question. Just be honest here. As I have seen other kind of like platforms roll out, either acquire and do it or roll out their own AI. No, we're not going to mention any names, but it feels, I wrote this newsletter of like, why does AI feel so meh, right? Because I think like when it gets rolled out, and of course I get to say this because we are only building these agents that plug in. So, like we have a unique kind of like nothing to lose in talking about how you roll it out from within your own platform, right? So I want to be completely considerate of that. The experience of when you guys roll out your AI new features to adoption, to reaction from people. Talk to me about that.
Absolutely. So definitely positive on the sales standpoint. I am not behind the scenes where the customers are actually using it. But on a sales standpoint, when somebody comes to me and they see the automation that AI brings, there's a wow always in it. Like people are like this, looking at the software, and they just sit down like this. That's what I mean. So again.
And what do they see? What do they see for them? Like talk me through like what you just showed them and how you phrase that to them for them to be like, oh, that's what I need.
So essentially, every customer is different. So people come to me with problems and I have to understand them first. So after I understand your problem, I present my solution, and depending on what the problem is and what problem we can solve and how much we can solve it, there's a different wow, right?
Give me an example of one wow.
For example, I had a customer last week, I remember, she's from Michigan, and she was telling me that it's like excruciating to having to troubleshoot simple stuff with maintenance, right? It's just taking so much of her time to having to talk to these tenants. It's like, hey, my HVAC system is not working.
20-minute conversations.
And then it turns out they had the thermostat on the wrong setting, right? So she kept telling me about this. She's like, hey, this is my assistant right here. 50% of her time is actually just dealing with this type of stuff. I would like to use that time to do something else, right? And we talk about the impact, what it does. And then when we go through our maintenance troubleshooting AI agent, and they can see how not only the AI will gather all the information, but it will actually actively troubleshoot and solve a 30 to 40% of every maintenance request you get. She was mind blown. She sit back and she's like, yep, that's exactly what I want.
That's what I need. Via text? Are they texting with somebody?
Directly in the tenant portal.
Talking on a voice?
Directly on the tenant portal.
So within the tenant portal, they have an app on their phone, and they're going back and forth on the tenant portal, and they're receiving pictures, and the tenant portal is prompting, like, check this, check that, until 40% of stuff is resolved.
Absolutely. And even if it's not resolved, what the AI agent's doing is gathering information. It's asking for pictures. It's asking for videos. It's asking for permission to enter. Right? So all those things, it's just a back and forth normally from human to human. Now the human gets a very nice package with all the information you need. And then you're like, okay, I know the right man for the job. Let me send them.
Right? Knowing the right person for the job, creating certainty for that person is a big deal, right? Like property managers, when I talk to people here, they're so conditioned to these like maintenance automation solutions just being outsourced maintenance. Like we're going to give you our vendors and we'll just take it off your plate. I like to tell property managers that their vendor network is their moat, right? Like at the end of the day, their relationships with the people that fix things and their ability to curate that in the best interest of both the owner and the resident simultaneously is their moat, right? So being able to not just, resident, help yourself, that's awesome for the owner, but giving a vendor a work order that they're like, oh, I'm getting this. I know that I'm going to show up, and in like 20 minutes, I'm done with it because I know that I have the right information.
Exactly.
I'm not going to have to make a Home Depot run because
or three,
right? Or getting put on that. Like that is such an underrated way to build your relationship with one of your most strategic partners. Is to give certainty and give confidence to your vendors to do the thing, and then you continue to develop that relationship with that vendor so that moat gets stronger for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
one of your biggest assets for sure.
Yeah. All that being said, that sounds a lot like one of the things that we do. Right? Like one of the things we do. So then when you think about integration partners, right? Like one of the things that I find very interesting about y'all is that you've been approaching us from day one about like, we are open, we want integration partners, we want to partner with you guys. And that's just not the experience we get with most other, PMSs. What's in it for you for that as a sales guy?
What's in it for me for the integrations?
Yeah, for being able to integrate and offer other people, like what is the conversation that's happening behind the scenes that like, because I feel it from your entire team.
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
I feel it from your entire team. Just like want to be like good partners, develop, like not have to build everything yourself. I think it's a counterintuitive intelligence that's happening there. And I have to assume that from the inside, you're like, why would I do that when I can just upsell our own products? Why would I give these guys a little bit of this cheese? What's the culture inside DoorLoop that allows for you guys to be so open to these integrations?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And this is not something that we have done throughout my entire career in DoorLoop. We haven't been that open as we are right now. And what we're realizing is like there's just a lot of things that we don't have to do. We really don't. There's a lot of opportunities now that we've been involved in the NARPM scene. We've been talking to so many of you guys. We're just realizing that there's just a marketplace of options that we can have for our customers, and we can just solve problems. And what it means for me as a sales guy, it means that I can solve more problems for more people. So the way I see it is just it's success for everybody.
That's smart. Now that you guys are like fresh on the NARPM scene, what's different about the NARPM scene than everybody else that you have been like selling to?
NARPM is a very tight community.
It is.
It's a very tight community, which makes it great because there's like such things as popular kids. You know what I'm saying? so I really...
You're the first one to say it out loud on the podcast.
I had to say it. I had to say it. They are popular kids, and you can recognize who is a popular kid and who's not, who's a first-timer. So I just love all of it. I feel like if we... Like once you get a customer on the popular kids group, it's all a huge opportunity for us from there.
Yeah. I describe it as a watering hole, right? Like it's like a very like well-structured community.
100%.
And the watering hole is real, and the opportunity to create word of mouth is very, very real. That's very different than like performance marketing and then like one to the next person. And it allows for like a great kind of like distribution of ideas and relationships and stuff.
It's
like
great.
that.
There's so many learning opportunities for the PMs. The PMs are so receptive to vendors. They come here and they want to learn about what's out there, what's new, and that's just something that I've not seen in other conferences. So
Anything else you want to share? Anything else that on your mind?
That's all I got.
Lay down.
That's all I got.
All right, bro. It's good meeting you, man. This conversation with Arturo and Bruno was held at NARPM Nationals, and at NARPM Nationals, I was asked this like great question. What has changed with, right? Like what's the most that's changed? I'll tell you what's changed the most. And the answer I gave, receipts. We have now figured out how to quantify the effectiveness of the AI, aka how to quantify this idea that people are at 95% automation. We have a bunch of people that are there, and we can show those receipts, and we can show how they got there. We can show the difference between someone that's not having 95% automation success and someone that is, and then tell that person who's not what the breadcrumbs are to get there. That's a huge, huge thing. If you have been wondering if there's any certainty behind AI and you haven't talked to us in a while, meaning like before NARPM Nationals, it's time to, but you want this outcome, right? You want this outcome with AI, come in and come check it out. Let us show you this like scoreboard that we've created that shows people why they're at the level of automation that they're at and what they need to do to improve it, and then show you how people have done it in real life. We even have like 1,000 door client that came on and 2 weeks later hit 95% automation in 2 weeks with 1,000 doors. So you can do it too. Go to vendoroo.ai, come check it out. What's up, dude?
Pleasure to meet you, Paul.
Yeah, it's good that you officially are meeting for the first time.
I know, and it's an honor. I love the setup that you guys got going on. It's fantastic.
Bruno Wesley.
Yes.
That's a great name.
Appreciate that.
Like you could be a wrestler or a quarterback.
Or, a singer without the great voice. Everybody asks me like Bruno Mars. I'm like, if I did that, I probably wouldn't be at DoorLoop. I'd probably be singing. But yeah.
What is your, so we just tag teamed you in here with Arturo. Yep. You were described to me as kind of like the guy that's been there for the whole journey at DoorLoop, building the product. You've seen it all.
Kind of.
How's that?
So my background actually was in the property management scene. I was a property manager. I did student housing at the University of Florida, managing about 500. Yeah, go Gators. Managing about your Gator? Go. Yeah. Good. I knew you're good. But I started managing about 592 units over in Gainesville, relocated over to Boca Raton for a different housing complex for FAU. And then the opportunity came knocking where I had a friend of mine who actually opened up a company, David Baton, who you just met. And I went and joined DoorLoop with 6 employees at the time. I thought it was a good opportunity for me to...
What year was this?
This was 2021.
Oh,
2021.
It's a very normal time in history.
I know, right? Everybody was out and about, that's what it was. But it was a good change for me. And I'm glad I took the leap. And I've been with DoorLoop for a really long time as a sales rep, and eventually getting into management and leadership, and it's been fantastic. It's been a great ride. I get to meet really amazing people like you and different people at these conferences. It's been fun.
Arturo was just talking about how kind of like you guys, this like open kind of like thing that you guys kind of like are promoting, which is in the minority of these larger softwares doing it, is a newer thing. Give me the journey of like insights to get to the point of like, oh no, we should really open our doors and do this thing.
It's a great question. So in the beginning, it was like, we're the new guys on the block. We need to prove ourselves. We need to go ahead and start creating features, and we need to start, building up DoorLoop.
Yeah.
And then it really recently, we realized, kind of to Arturo's point, at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is provide solutions for customers. How can they grow quicker? How can they manage better? How can they manage more efficiently? And like, we've realized that, I'm here as a consultant to the property manager. If the property manager has an issue that I can't solve, maybe Pablo can. And so if we have a really good connection in terms of, integrations and like what Arturo said in the marketplace, where you can, maybe I don't have the solution, but I can tell you someone who does. And I think that goes a long way. That's like, hey, even though I might not have the answer, I'm working with someone that does, and you're actually going to have a better experience with them.
Man, I couldn't believe in that more. So one of the things that I think it's one of the best insights that we've had in a while, is the idea that this change that's happening, right? Like this like transition to agentic AI for property managers, like when we see our clients that first succeeded really well, all had, whether it was the owner of the company or like an employee that they really trusted that was like, dude, I'm all in on this AI thing. I'm gonna own this thing. Like call me the AI czar, right? Like, and they're the ones that like started having these like outsized results, but the majority of the industry doesn't have that person in-house. And it feels like they need their solution providers to have this like very consultative disposition. And by that I mean, yes, dudes, consultative sales are great, but having a layer of advisors that can not just help you within the product, but like the things around your business that need to happen in order for the product to really happen for you, is one of the things that we're really, really leaning into. And it sounds like you guys are kind of there. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I think it's massive. You're not just pushing a software, but you're actually, what we try to do is, what are some of the other problems that you might have that, we can give you insights because other people have come to us and other people have gone this direction and so on and so forth. And so I think that idea of just, let's learn about what you've got going on.
Yeah.
Let me see where I can integrate here. Maybe I've got Pablo who can integrate there, and really just provide you a whole complete solution to just improve your beginning to end.
Complete solution. That's from Crossing the Chasm, right?
Yeah, you guys were talking about it.
Yeah. Talk to me how that looks like organizationally. Like, is it a cultural thing where senior sales guys like Arturo are just like ingrained in it? Do you have a layer of kind of like AI kind of coachy people, implementation people? How does that look organizationally to set that up?
Yeah, and so I think one of the big things that you and Arturo spoke about is like, sometimes AI feels meh. And I think it's really important for us to, because if you just show the AI feature, it's meh. Yeah. But you have to explain what it does and what it will get off of your plate. And that's really the wow. And so in our organization, we've always had one of our co-founders and CEO, Ori, who was one of the front kind of spearheading this whole project of the AI. He basically, you have to get excited first and foremost. And once you get excited, you start creating excitement amongst like the leadership and amongst the managers and amongst the AEs. And what's really great is, yes, we do have some people that are just, that person is the AI guy. That's the czar. Yeah. And so in our org, we have some people that are way more like forward thinking.
The AI tinkerers and fanatics.
And what I love about this is like some customers come to me and they ask, does it do this? And frankly, I don't know. It's really what you make of it, right? Just try it out and let me know what you think. Yeah. And I think that that's what's great. And you start creating that within the organization as well. You start learning where it can take you.
Yeah, I'm pushing really hard right now. We're set up. It's funny. because we are AI first, right? Like we're 2 years old, just very, very much that. And as we're developing agents, it still feels to me that our org chart still looks like a SaaS company, right? And we're saying this is the new future. So what's the new org chart, right? Like I've done a lot of writing of like what the new org chart is going to be for property managers, but I think as technology providers, we really need to ask ourselves, what's the new org chart going to look like for us? If we're gonna help us utilizing AI and us helping people kind of like cross this chasm, right?
Correct.
And the best thing I've come up with so far is, like right now, we got sales, we got customer success, we got account management, just like everybody else. I'm thinking like we need to restructure that to provide that kind of like, the empowering of the AIs are that anybody has inside their company, but also to be that bridge.
Yeah.
Kind of like piece.
That consultant, that implementation or...
And what, exactly. And what I see is, we have like maybe 3 or 4 people in our company that are really, really good at this. It's like Nick, it's Juan, it's a couple other people, right? The guy in the kangaroo suit is one.
I looked and I was like, he's probably with Vendoroo.
That guy, yeah. And I think instead of thinking it's like customer success and account management, I want to think of like inflow and out of flow. Meaning like if you are already on like a specific momentum that doesn't necessarily need to change, those are routine touch points. If you are in something that the momentum needs to be like shifted in some way, those are not routine.
Essentially, you have a vision that's a little bit different from what our track
Correct.
is.
And when you're onboarding, there's a momentum shift that needs to happen, right? So like that team should work together to onboard people, right? Like I think that I want these like AI coaches to be, when we're onboarding, there's like an account manager and then they're like AI consultant. That is, the AI consultant is just sitting there listening. Like, what are these people's priorities? What are their points? The account manager is the one doing the in the background that's happening, but they establish that relationship to start. We have our onboarding process that's kind of unique. It's like a 2-week cohort.
Cool.
And then they have these like routine, kind of like touch points, right?
Cool.
And then what I see is these moments in conferences are very, very real, right? Like we don't, like we'll have people that'll come up to us and are like, oh, we're super happy with the software. We're getting a lot of that happening. But we also have some people that are like, man, like I say that I'm happy with it, but I really wish what's happening is this. Yeah. And then they sit down with this person and they go from this it's almost like a moment that shifts their belief from what
could get way better
from to, from this to this. And I want to continue to systemize those moments. And I find that some of them are like, hey, how do we adapt this thing inside of Vendoroo? Sometimes it's like, all right, talk to me about your business and how to we create this, right?
What's really interesting, just to that point, is, and you and Arturo talked about it, some of our customers are come into us and they're very pain driven. Hey, let me fix that pain. Yeah. And those are probably the ones that you're more on the track. Yeah. Others, what's your vision? Yeah. Right? It's a different approach versus, hey, let me fix this for you versus where do you want to be?
100%.
And so I think to your point, in these conferences, sometimes there is that exact moment where it's like, I don't have anything, but I could be doing things way better. And what you said, I think is fantastic, is what if there is someone sitting through some of these onboarding calls, sitting through the account management conversations to say, actually this piece, you haven't even thought about it, but here's how we can make it better for you. So I think it's a great idea. I like it.
Yeah, man.
I'm on board.
Cool. I'm trying to sell it internally. So this.
Hey, you can always call me for it, and I'll be able to pitch it for you.
I appreciate it, man. What are you working on the hardest right now? Like, how do you know if you're winning? Like, what are you working on right now?
I think one of the biggest things for us, obviously, with the release of the AI, we want to really be able to capture kind of like what you said, that excitement. And so, I'm working with my team on how do we make that excitement for the customers, right? How do we actually bring, into a very archaic, for lack of a better term, industry. Old school, pen and paper. How do we explain this whole concept in a very short period of time? So that's what I'm working on internally. At the same time,
what's your bet on that? Like, how are you thinking about that?
I mean, I think it's fun. It's a fun thing, and I like our chances just because more and more the world is we're looking at the Tim Cook quote that you have there, right? It's going to affect every product, every service. So you're not going to run away from it. People are only going to get more and more used to it. So that's pretty fun, and I'm excited to see what comes next. I'm also at this point starting off how do we go up market and start kind of getting into some of these people that have legacy softwares that are very attached to it, but those legacy softwares are missing that spark that Vendoroo has, that DoorLoop is looking to have as well. And so that new freshness, that Apple versus BlackBerry, that is where we want to be at.
I think there is we were just having this talk internally. We're there is a world. You remember those Apple versus Mac commercials? I think those need to exist right now.
Yeah.
Right? I think there is.
Of course, we're at a point right now where there are new players on the market, and then I think that it'll make some noise.
Yeah. When you talk about bottling the excitement, Like, and I was just asking, like, what's your bet on it? Like, I'm really asking, how does that, is it through, like, are you working on like a strategic narrative? Are you working on content? Are you working on like a better demo experience? Like, what's the...
Yeah, I think it's first really important for the customer to take a moment and think about their current day-to-day.
Yeah.
Think and really think hard. And it's not about, I do this, I do this, I do this. Okay, how are you doing these things?
Yeah.
What are you physically doing? Are you typing? Are you, putting it on your phone? Where are you having this experience? Yeah. And then from there, having them really be introspective for a brief moment, and then you can hit them with the wow, and you can hit them with that because
that makes sense.
It's really... We sometimes don't stop and think about what we do. We're always go, and property managers even more so, that they don't really think about their processes, but you can really deliver that wow if you get them speaking about their processes, if you really get them to think about how much time and effort and brain power they spend. And sometimes it's just a quick, like one of the features with DoorLoop, one of the simplest ones with the AI, is that brain power. It's sync. You can write into your text message on the DoorLoop app, sync is fixed. But maybe you don't want to send that specifically, sync is fixed, to your tenant because you want to have a professional voice. With the AI, you click, hey, make it more professional or make it friendlier, and it just creates that sentence. Hey, so-and-so, your sync is fixed, and we're going to be by, like a much friendlier message. Just the brain power, it eliminates that. And so we don't think about that much.
Are you familiar with the discipline of category design? Have you ever
heard of Tell me about it.
Bigger? Man, I could this could be a whole 5-hour series, right? But like, it's essentially, category designers are the, like, you're familiar with the term category king? Like, if you win your category, right, it essentially means you capture 76% of market share.
Got it.
Right, like the people that are synonymous with the problem that they solve, like Uber and Netflix and Facebook and whatever, right?
Got it.
Like
they are like Ziploc.
Like Ziploc, right? It means like you capture 76% of your market category. The second place in software, this really happens, right? Like it's like a winner take all thing,
Correct.
right? Like 76% of market share, everyone else is fighting for 24%. And the way that is done, like the category formula, is a context shift will create a new missing, which will drive the reasoning why for an innovation, right? So like if the world changes to here, now there's a gap back here, or now we're so close to this new thing that there's the why now for like why we change.
Got it.
And what I'm hearing from you is essentially the category formula. If you can understand someone's context, right? Like you're going deep into their context, and then you show them how like their context now sits in another set. It manifests as either a non-obvious solution that now exists for an obvious problem, or a non-obvious new problem that can have a solution.
Correct.
Right? And
I love it.
And when you frame it in the context, now people get it goes from like, oh, that's cool tech, to like, oh, this is for me.
Correct.
Right now.
That's what it is.
Right? And that's what I'm
huge.
hearing from you guys, which is really, really interesting, man.
I like that. Well, thank you for explaining that. That's a concept that I'll carry.
I'll send you the book Play Bigger, man.
I appreciate
That's
it.
kind of like what coined it. Anything else, man? Anything else that you like find interesting that we should be talking about right now?
No, I mean, I think you hit it. I think I like what you said in the beginning. You are a visionary. I can tell just from this conversation and what you guys are creating. It's really cool stuff, and we want to be a part of it.
Cool. We want to be a part of what you guys are doing too, man.
Cool, man.
Sweet.
Pablo, pleasure.
Good meeting you, man.
Thanks.